All right, welcome back to Living Equity Podcast, everybody. Welcome back. It's Trust Talk Thursdays. Yeah. Almost Friday for everybody who works 9 to 5. You're almost there. Hang on, you're almost there. Living Equity Podcast, where we, inform everyone and enlighten everyone how to be good stewards on this earth. While you're living this journey, how to be a good steward and how to pass down those behavior patterns of good stewardship to your family and your friends, your loved ones in general. All right. First and foremost, this is not a law firm. If you need an attorney, I inform you to hire a competent attorney to assist you with your matter that you may need. This podcast channel page, wherever you are watching or listening to the sound of my voice, is for education and entertainment purposes only. All right. So again, give ourselves another round of applause for Trust Talk Thursdays. Yes. Right. That's right. Well, today we're going to be talking about living trust, right? The basics, right? I'm a fundamental guy. I'm a basic guy. So I like to always say, you guys probably hear it enough. Probably got, probably tired of hearing it, honestly. No spookism. I can definitely get into some spooky stuff, right? To that rabbit hole. But if you want to know more of that rabbit hole talk, you got to come to me privately. We don't disclose private things on public airways or public domains, right? We talk private. We say we are private. We do private things, but yet we are disclosing our private stuff on public platforms. Look at there. How private could you really be there, my friend? Anyhow, today we're going to be talking about revocable trust, living revocable trust, right? Or revocable living trust, however you want to phrase it, right? The purpose of the revocable trust, and it's the best method of handling your assets when you become potentially in a incapacitated situation. Okay. The basic estate plan includes a revocable living trust, a pour-over will, and a durable power of attorney. The revocable trust is the actual core of the estate planning. Of course, it contains provisions on how the settlor can use the income and the principle of that actual trust over his lifetime, the settlor's lifetime, and how, of course, in that trust agreement, it's going to also break up how disposition is in the direction of disposition at the time of his or her death, right? So that's the revocable trust, and we accompany the revocable living trust with a pour-over will. Now, we're talking again for those listeners out there, estate planning, right? The basic estate planning for just an average individual. Okay. Now, for my advanced listeners out there, those who are watching me, you may not. This episode might not be for you. It might be a good fundamental principle brush up on the basics. But either way it goes, I hope you take something from this. But again, the three main things when it comes to estate planning, we have the revocable living trust, the pour-over will, and the durable power of attorney. And as I stated before, of course, the revocable trust has it to where the settlor is able to use the income and principle of that trust, and in that trust agreement outline the direction of the disposition of those properties or trust property that is to be left behind upon the death of the settlor. In that revocable trust, where I left off at, is coupled with a pour-over will. Now, that's important because the pour-over will, it directs the probate assets owned by you at your death to be given to an acting trustee upon your death. So the pour-over will just ensures that those items, assets, or whatever you have out there that has or was not conveyed or possibly put on a schedule that would have shown the intent of the settler, of the intent to transfer property. Those assets that weren't able to get inside of a trust before his death are to be moved into the name of the trustee and held under trust, and the pourable will enforce that. Now, it doesn't avoid probate, but it does avoid, probate entirely, but it does avoid a lot of the things that you will have to do when it comes to probating a will. Okay. So that pourable will is a big part that you will want to couple with the revocable trust, just in case, you get a car, house, whatever that might be, and you pass away, wait, a couple months, weeks, whatever, before you're able to convey it into your trust. The pourable will ensure that it's done. Along with that pourable will and that revocable living trust, we have a durable power of attorney. The durable power of attorney authorizes an attorney, in fact, on your behalf during your lifetime. The power, of course, of attorney, in fact, is it survives if your durable power of attorney. In fact, talking to you, my listener, if someone has a power of attorney, in fact, in that position, it actually survives disability, meaning that it will still be in effect even when you become disabled. However, it's terminated upon your death. Okay? A good thing to actually have in death as well as in life is a revocable living trust. And I'll get that to another episode where that can also act like, in a sense, the powers of a durable power of attorney. It can administer those assets in your time of incapacity. So if you are in jail or, maybe in your hospital bed, the living revocable trust will and has the power to do a lot more than the actual durable power of attorney can. But it's still an essential piece because companies that require certain, things, they operate differently. Certain companies have their own, for an example, designated forms that they want you to fill out to make sure that this person has a power of attorney in those situations of incapacity or death, as well as the beneficiary forms, right? They have different beneficiary forms. You may have the beneficiary down as, or you may have the account in trust, right? But you still have to fill out some of their forms. So still be aware of certain things that how certain companies want it done, if I'm not confusing you there. But so the power of attorney in fact survives the client's disability. So if you become disabled, it still is operative as a enforceable attorney in fact for that individual to act on your behalf, and it all gets terminated upon your death. Okay. The estate planning documents dealing with your property are typically supplemented by a healthcare directive, or we like to call a living will. Okay. This living will, it allows individuals to make the healthcare decisions for you in your position of being incapacitated, right? And that may be in the unconscious, right? That living will is the other document, or the healthcare directive is also the other document that can actually execute that side of your estate for you in the event that you are unable to, do it yourself, fend for yourself, or whatever that might be. Again, typically healthcare directors deals with, when you're in the hospital, when you're non-responsive. Okay. But if you are unmarried, and the typical thing, of course, if you are married, is you are your own, when it comes to a living trust, again, you are your own trustee and beneficiary, typically, when it comes to living trust. Okay. The trust agreement, when you are married, the trust agreement nominates a individual to be a successor trustee if you're not married, right? Typically, you'll have in the documentation where you're appointing a successor trustee to take the position and how to dispose of that property upon your death. Okay, that's typically happens with a living trust when you're unmarried and you're just operating on your own. However, when you are married, and let's just say you're married, but you really don't have a large tax obligation as far as the estate size, right? Uh, Typically, you can, as husband and wife, can create a joint revocable living trust, and which both of you will transfer both of your joint assets and individually held assets inside of this trust. Okay. The husband and wife are both settlers, okay, of this trust. You're both settlers and you're both co-trustees and beneficiaries during joint lifetimes and the lifetime of the survivor. Okay. If one spouse becomes incapacitated or happens to die, the other spouse continues as the trustee, as the sole trustee, in fact, right? And if married, if you're a married couple, the you require, say, tax state, estate tax planning. Man, I got butchered that. The customary approach is for the couple to divide the property into two different trusts or their own trusts, right? Two living trusts of their own. So if you do have an estate tax or rather, large tax responsibility that you might be concerned of as a married couple, then you definitely want to consider having two joint revocable trusts. The husband is the settler of one trust, and the husband and wife are co-trustees and beneficiaries of the trust during the husband's lifetime. Vice versa, right? The wife is also settler of the other trust. The husband and wife are co-trustees and beneficiaries of the wife's trust during her lifetime. Okay. Now, upon the death of the first spouse, the property of the trust can be split, okay, between a credit shelter trust to maximize the use of the deceased spouse's applicable exclusion, or a marital gift in the in trust or outright. Okay, so those are the two options that you typically would have in regards to if you're married and if you have a tax concern, and if you don't really have a tax concern. This is kind of how I would uh, structure it, or lay it out as far as having what kind of trust would I would have if I still want to kind of have some form of control. So, hopefully that helps you guys. Hopefully that wasn't too difficult to comprehend. But if you have any questions, you guys can visit us at www.livingequity.org and schedule yourself a one-time free 15-minute consultation. Or you can also inbox me on Facebook at Turi Ali, on Instagram at Living Equity. And you can also follow us and maybe drop a comment on our YouTube page at Living Equity as well. And check our podcast out on Podbean at Living Equity Podcast. All right. Again, I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. and get this out, get this information out, man. I know it's basic information. It's not here to woo you and are you. I just believe that it's certain stuff that we all should know as a human race, right? As man, I think we should know the laws of the land, and I think you don't have to be no scholar or anything, but I think the more we would know as a collective, the more that a lot of the waste, the unjust enrichment, and the fraud and the corruption that's going on with our tax dollars or our states in general would maybe be minimum. I wouldn't say it'll cease because you will always have that other side of the coin. There's good, there's always evil, but I think it at least minimize it, right? And then minimize our exposure to certain things as well, to where we won't be subjective to those penalties and pains of being so exposed. But again, I appreciate you guys tuning in on this Trust Talk Thursdays. Let's give it up for ourselves one more time. So tomorrow will be Family Talk Fridays. Family Talk Fridays. Yes, Family Talk Fridays. I am looking forward to that one. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about that sensitive topic when it comes to family law, right? Very sensitive. Nobody wants to talk about that, but I'm going to be the one to talk about it, give you my experiences, my knowledge, wisdom on the topic as well, and bring some people in on that topic. Shouts out to Brother Amin Osiris. Good brother. Shout out to Rick Dub, another good brother in the space, and a lot of other individuals and organizations and channels out there who are fighting the good fight and getting the good message out of the truth and facts about family law, custody, and child support in general. But yep. Again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and click the link below in the chat. Let me get out of the chat. Sorry, in the comment box. Well, I'm gonna have a chat box coming soon because I need you guys to be engaged with me. I'm a better individual when I got some engagement. Talking to yourself on the screen is so boring. Oh gosh, it is, really is. You guys could have the questions that I may be able to answer, or maybe I may be able to, articulate things a little bit better. Maybe with the way I said it the first time, you didn't really get it. So I'm gonna look into having another streaming platform where we can converse with each other. You guys, we can be active and communicate with one another doing this podcast. Especially when I go live. I'd rather go live anyway. But I try not to chop up no recordings, man. I try to keep it real raw and direct to let you know this is who I am. This is not scripted. This is me. This is who you're gonna get. I'm gonna be genuine to it as always. So peace, love, and light, everybody, and appreciate you joining in, and we'll see you tomorrow. We out.